The Galactic Council's mistake. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, the Galactic Council had long considered itself the ultimate arbiter of interstellar affairs. For millennia, they had overseen the rise and fall of countless civilizations, guiding some towards enlightenment while subtly suppressing others they deemed too volatile. Humanity, in their eyes, fell squarely into the latter category. When Earth first made contact with alien life, the Council watched with a mixture of curiosity and trepidation. Humans were unpredictable, emotional, and possessed an insatiable drive to explore and conquer. For centuries, the Council had worked tirelessly to integrate Earth into the galactic community, believing that exposure to advanced alien cultures would temper humanity's wild nature. On the surface, their efforts appeared successful. Humans embraced interstellar trade, cultural exchange, and technological advancements. They became valued members of the galactic workforce, known for their creativity and adaptability. The Council grew complacent, believing they had finally tamed the human spirit. But they couldn't have been more wrong. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the forefront of human scientific achievement. A brilliant astrophysicist and xenobiologist, she had dedicated her life to understanding the complexities of the universe. Her groundbreaking research on dark matter propulsion had revolutionized space travel, earning her accolades across the galaxy. Yet, for all her professional success, Sarah's greatest joy came from her role as a mother to her 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Lily inherited her mother's curiosity and quick mind. She spent hours poring over holographic star charts and asking endless questions about alien cultures. Sarah delighted in nurturing her daughter's inquisitive nature, seeing in Lily the future of human potential. On a crisp autumn morning, Sarah kissed Lily goodbye as she boarded the hover bus for school. "Remember, sweetheart, today's the day of your field trip to the Xenobotanical Gardens. Don't forget to take lots of pictures for me." Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I won't, Mom. I can't wait to see the bioluminescent trees from Andromeda." As the bus disappeared around the corner, Sarah couldn't shake a sudden feeling of unease. She dismissed it as parental anxiety and headed to her laboratory at the Global Science Institute. Hours later, Sarah's world shattered. A call from Lily's school sent ice through her veins. Her daughter never arrived for the field trip. Security footage showed Lily being escorted from the bus by two tall, slender figures with silvery skin, unmistakably members of the Galactic Council's elite guard. Panic gave way to a cold, focused rage as Sarah pieced together what had happened. The Council, in its arrogance, had made the gravest mistake of its long existence. They had taken her child. Sarah's mind raced as she accessed every database and contact she had cultivated over years of interstellar research. She called in favors from alien colleagues, tapped into encrypted channels, and scoured the dark corners of the galactic net for any information on her daughter's whereabouts. As the pieces fell into place, a chilling picture emerged. The Council, concerned about humanity's rapid advancements and growing influence, had decided to send a message. They chose Lily, daughter of one of Earth's most prominent scientists, as a pawn in their political game. They believed that by holding her, they could force concessions from Earth's government and remind humans of their place in the galactic hierarchy. What the Council failed to understand was the depth of human love, particularly that of a mother for her child. They had no concept of the primal force they had awakened within Sarah Chen. In her state-of-the-art lab, surrounded by humming equipment and glowing screens, Sarah made a vow. She would tear apart the very fabric of the galaxy if that's what it took to bring Lily home. And in doing so, she would show the Galactic Council the true nature of humanity, not as a species tamed, but as a force of nature they had gravely underestimated. Sarah began by reaching out to her closest confidant, Dr. Marcus Reeves, a brilliant AI specialist and her longtime research partner. As she explained the situation, Marcus's usually calm demeanor gave way to shock and then determination. "They've gone too far this time, Sarah," he said, his voice tight with anger. "The Council thinks they can play with our lives, our children. We'll show them what happens when you back humans into a corner." Together, they began to formulate a plan. Sarah's expertise in astrophysics and Marcus's mastery of artificial intelligence would be the foundation of their mission. But they knew they needed more. Allies who understood the Council's weaknesses, technology beyond what was publicly available, and a way to move undetected through Council space. As word of Lily's abduction spread through Sarah's network, an underground movement began to form. Humans and sympathetic aliens alike, long wary of the Council's overreach, rallied to her cause. Among them was Zora, a renegade Arcturian, with intimate knowledge of Council security systems, and Crix, a vegan smuggler whose ship, the Stardancer, was renowned for its ability to slip past even the most advanced detection grids. In the days that followed, Sarah's lab transformed into a nerve center of covert activity. Holographic displays flickered with schematics of Council facilities, while 3D printers hummed, producing cutting-edge stealth technology. Sarah worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of physics to develop weapons and defenses that the Council would never see coming. As she worked, Sarah felt something stirring within her, a power she had never known she possessed. In moments of intense focus, she found she could manipulate energy fields with her mind, moving objects without touching them. At first, she dismissed it as a trick of exhaustion, but as the occurrences became more frequent and controlled, she realized it was something more. Marcus noticed it too. "Sarah," he said one night, as they pored over plans, "I think the stress of the situation has awakened something in you. Something not entirely human." Sarah looked at her hands, watching as tiny arcs of energy danced between her fingers. "Whatever it is, Marcus, I'll use it to save Lily, and to make sure the Council never threatens our people again." As their plan took shape, Sarah received an encrypted transmission from an unexpected source, a disillusioned member of the Council itself. The message was brief but revelatory. "Your daughter is held in the heart of Omega, the Council's most secure facility. They underestimate you. Use that. The future of the galaxy depends on your success." With this final piece of information, Sarah knew it was time to act. She gathered her team: Marcus, Zora, Crix, and a handful of other trusted allies, aboard the Stardancer. As the ship's engines hummed to life, Sarah took one last look at the Earth through the viewscreen. "Hold on, Lily," she whispered. "Mom's coming." As the Stardancer leaked into hyperspace, Sarah felt a surge of determination, unlike anything she had ever experienced. The Galactic Council thought they had subdued humanity, molded them into obedient members of their cosmic order. They were about to learn how wrong they were. For in taking Lily, they had not just provoked a mother's wrath, they had awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity's full potential was about to be unleashed upon the stars, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Unveiling hidden strengths. The Stardancer sliced through the fabric of space, its advanced stealth systems rendering it invisible to the Council's vast network of sensors. Inside the ship's command center, Sarah Chen stood before a holographic display of the Omega sector, her eyes fixed on the pulsing red dot that marked their destination, the heart of Omega. "We'll be entering Council space in approximately 6 hours," Crix announced from the pilot's seat, his four-fingered hands dancing over the controls. The vegan's bioluminescent skin flickered with patterns of anxiety and determination. Sarah nodded, her mind racing with calculations and contingencies. She turned to her assembled team, a diverse group of humans and aliens united by a common purpose. "This is our last chance to review the plan and make any final preparations. Once we cross into Council territory, there's no turning back." Marcus stepped forward, activating a detailed hologram of the heart of Omega. "Thanks to our insider's information, we have a basic layout of the facility. The central chamber, where we believe they're holding Lily, is protected by a series of concentric security rings. Each ring has its own unique defenses, ranging from energy fields to sentient AI guardians." Zara, the Arcturian renegade, chimed in. Her crystalline voice resonated with a hint of excitement. "I've analyzed the security protocols. They're impressive, but not impenetrable. The Council's overconfidence is their weakness. They never anticipated anyone would dare to infiltrate their inner sanctum." As the team delved into the intricacies of their plan, Sarah felt that strange energy stirring within her again. She closed her eyes, focusing on the sensation. In her mind's eye, she saw streams of cosmic energy flowing around her, through her. With a thought, she reached out and touched one of these streams. The hologram in front of them flickered and then expanded, revealing layers of information that hadn't been there before. Everyone fell silent, staring in awe at the suddenly enhanced display. "Sarah," Marcus whispered, "did you do that?" As the Stardancer resumed its course, now flying dark to avoid further detection, the team gathered to reassess their strategy. Sarah's demonstration of power had opened up new possibilities, but it had also likely alerted the Council to their approach. "We need to assume they know we're coming," Zara said, her tactical mind already formulating new plans. "But they won't know the full extent of our capabilities. We can use that to our advantage." Crix nodded, his bioluminescence pulsing with determination. "I can get us close to the heart of Omega using a series of short, unpredictable jumps. It'll be a rough ride, but it should confuse their tracking systems." As they fine-tuned their approach, Sarah felt a strange resonance growing within her. It was as if, the closer they got to Lily, the stronger her connection to these cosmic energies became. She wondered if her daughter might possess similar latent abilities, and if that was the real reason the Council had taken her. The next few hours passed in a blur of preparation and nervous anticipation. Each member of the team honed their skills and checked their equipment. Marcus put the finishing touches on a series of AI scramblers designed to confuse the Council's automated defenses. Zara memorized the layout of the heart of Omega, plotting multiple infiltration routes. Crix ran simulation after simulation, perfecting his approach vector. As for Sarah, she spent the time in deep meditation, exploring the limits of her newfound powers. She learned to extend her senses, to feel the ebb and flow of energy around her with greater precision. With practice, she found she could manipulate smaller, more delicate systems without causing catastrophic failures. It was a level of control that both exhilarated and terrified her. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of tense silence, Crix's voice came over the intercom. "We're approaching the outer perimeter of Omega space. Last chance to back out, folks." Sarah took a deep breath, centering herself. She thought of Lily, alone and afraid in some sterile council chamber. She thought of humanity, standing up against centuries of subtle oppression. She thought of the galaxy, teetering on the edge of a profound change. "Take us in, Crix," she said, her voice steady and resolved. "It's time to show the Council that humanity will not be controlled or contained. We are not their subjects or their science experiments. We are a force of nature, and they're about to witness our fury firsthand." As the Stardancer made its final approach, cloaked in stealth fields and cosmic interference, Sarah felt a surge of something she hadn't experienced since Lily's abduction. Hope. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever sacrifices might be required, she knew in her heart that they would prevail. The heart of Omega loomed before them, a massive structure of gleaming metal and pulsing energy fields. Within its walls lay the key to humanity's future and the Council's greatest mistake. Sarah Chen, once just a brilliant scientist and devoted mother, now stood as the vanguard of human potential unleashed. The Galactic Council had thought they understood humanity. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Storming the Citadel, the heart of Omega loomed before them, a colossal structure that seemed to defy the very laws of physics Sarah had spent her life studying. Its surface shimmered with layers of energy fields, each one a different hue, creating a mesmerizing and deadly light show against the backdrop of space. Crix's voice was tense as he maneuvered the Stardancer through a field of debris, the remnants of previous failed infiltration attempts. "We're approaching the outer defense perimeter. If we're going to make our move, it needs to be now." Sarah closed her eyes, Reaching out with her newly awakened senses, she could feel the pulse of the heart's defenses, a complex rhythm of energy flows and data streams. With a deep breath, she focused her mind on a weak point she detected, a small fluctuation in the outermost barrier. "There," she said, her eyes snapping open. "Coordinates sent to your nav system. Crix. That's our way in." The vacant pilot's hands flew over the controls, guiding the ship towards the spot Sarah had identified. As they approached, Sarah concentrated, using her powers to amplify the fluctuation. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then, like a soap bubble popping, a hole appeared in the energy field. "Now," Sarah shouted. Crix didn't need to be told twice. The Stardancer surged forward, slipping through the opening just as it began to close behind them. Alarms blared throughout the ship as they entered the heart's inner sanctum. "They know we're here," Zara announced, her crystalline form pulsing with nervous energy. "Security protocols are activating all over the station." Marcus was already at work, his fingers dancing over holographic interfaces. "Deploying countermeasures now. My AI scrambler should buy us some time, but we need to move fast." As the Stardancer docked in a maintenance bay, narrowly avoiding patrolling security drones, Sarah turned to her team. "Remember the plan. Zara, you're with me. We're heading for the central chamber where they're likely holding Letty. Marcus, tap into their systems and cause as much chaos as you can. Crix, keep the ship ready for a quick getaway." With nods of understanding, the team split up. Sarah and Zara slipped into the heart's labyrinthine corridors, relying on the Arcturians' knowledge of council architecture and Sarah's newfound ability to sense energy patterns. They moved swiftly but cautiously, ducking into alcoves and empty rooms whenever patrols passed by. Sarah marveled at how natural it felt to use her powers now, manipulating security cameras and locking mechanisms with mere thoughts. As they descended deeper into the heart, the corridors became increasingly grand, transitioning from utilitarian metal to polished stone inlaid with pulsing energy conduits. "We're getting close to the inner sanctum," Zara whispered. "The council chambers themselves can't be far." Suddenly, a massive door loomed before them, its surface inscribed with symbols from 1,000 alien cultures. Sarah placed her hand on the cool metal, closing her eyes to concentrate. "Lily's behind this door. I can feel her presence." Before they could formulate a plan to bypass the door's formidable security, it hissed open. Sarah and Zara exchanged surprised glances before cautiously stepping through. They found themselves in a vast, circular chamber. Tiered seating surrounded the central platform, reminiscent of an ancient amphitheater, and there, in the center of it all, stood Lily. Sarah's heart leaped at the sight of her daughter, but something was wrong. Lily stood unnaturally still, her eyes glazed over, surrounded by a faint bluish glow. "Mom." Lily's voice was distant, confused. "Is that really you?" Before Sarah could respond, a deep, resonant voice filled the chamber. "Welcome, Dr. Chen. We've been expecting you." From the shadows stepped a figure that could only be a high-ranking member of the Galactic Council. Tall and willowy, with skin that shimmered like starlight, the alien exuded an aura of ancient power and unfathomable intelligence. "I am Salar, speaker for the Council," the being announced. "You've led us on quite a chase, Doctor. Your determination is impressive." Sarah's fists clenched at her sides, cosmic energy crackling around her. "Release my daughter. Now." Exhalor tilted his head, studying Sarah with obvious curiosity. "Fascinating. You've awakened abilities that should have lain dormant for millennia. This is precisely why we took such an interest in young Lily. The potential within your species is both wondrous and terrifying." "We are not your science experiments," Sarah growled, taking a step forward. As she did, the energy around her intensified, causing the air itself to shimmer. The council member held up a hand in a placating gesture. "Please, Dr. Chen, we have no desire for conflict. Your daughter has been treated well. We merely wished to study her, to understand the latent abilities within humanity's genetic code. Zara, who had been quietly assessing the room's defenses, spoke up. "And what gave you the right to abduct a child for your studies? To treat an entire species as subjects without their consent?" Sailor's expression shifted, showing a hint of what might have been regret. "We have watched over the galaxy for eons, guiding younger races, preventing conflicts that could tear the fabric of space-time itself. When we first encountered humanity, we saw a species of incredible potential, but also great volatility. We feared what might happen if that potential was unleashed without guidance." Sarah's mind raced, processing the implications of Sailor's words. The Council's actions, while misguided, came from a place of genuine concern, but that didn't excuse what they'd done. "You could have approached us openly," Sarah said, her voice tight with controlled anger. "Shared your knowledge, helped us understand our own nature. Instead, you chose to manipulate and control us from the shadows." As she spoke, Sarah reached out with her powers, gently prodding the energy field surrounding Lily. She could feel her daughter's consciousness, clouded but fighting against the Council's influence. Taylor spread his arms in a gesture that might have been helplessness. "Perhaps you're right. But you must understand, we have seen civilizations tear themselves apart upon discovering powers they were not ready to wield. We sought only to prevent such a tragedy by committing a tragedy of your own." Sarah countered. With a surge of will, she shattered the field around Lily. Her daughter gasped, stumbling forward into her mother's arms. The reunion was short-lived. Alarms blared throughout the chamber, and the sound of heavy footsteps echoed from the corridors beyond. Taylor's expression hardened. "You leave us no choice, Dr. Chen. If you will not see reason, we must contain this threat to galactic stability." As if on cue, the chamber doors burst open. Squads of Council security forces poured in, their weapons trained on Sarah and her companions. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Sarah held Lily close, her mind racing through possibilities. She could feel the cosmic energy surging within her, begging to be unleashed. With a thought, she could likely devastate this entire facility. But at what cost? Would proving the Council's fears correct help anyone? It was Lily who broke the standoff. Looking up at her mother with eyes that now shimmered with awakened power, she spoke softly but clearly. "Mom, I understand now. What we can do, what we are. We're not meant to be contained or controlled, but we're not meant to destroy, either." In that moment, Sarah felt a connection with her daughter deeper than anything she'd ever experienced. It was as if their minds touched, sharing knowledge and power across generations. With newfound clarity, Sarah turned to face Exhaler and the assembled Council forces. "You're right to be cautious," she said, her voice ringing with authority. "The power within humanity is indeed great, but it's not a threat to be contained. It's a gift to be nurtured." As she spoke, the energy around her and Lily grew, filling the chamber with a soft, pulsing light. The Council security forces lowered their weapons, seemingly entranced by the display. "We stand at a crossroads," Sarah continued. "You can continue to fear and suppress us, driving us towards the very conflict you seek to prevent. Or you can work with us, openly and honestly, to forge a new future for the galaxy." Shaler stared at the scene before him, his ancient eyes wide with a mixture of awe and uncertainty. "And if we choose the path of cooperation, what assurance do we have that humanity will use its powers responsibly?" It was Zora who answered, stepping forward to stand beside Sarah and Lily. "The very fact that they're offering cooperation instead of retribution should be assurance enough. I've seen the strength of human love and determination firsthand. Imagine that power turned towards creation and exploration rather than conflict." For a long moment, silence reigned in the chamber. Then, slowly, Sadler bowed his head. Perhaps we have allowed our fears to cloud our judgment for too long. Your actions here today, Dr. Chen, have demonstrated both the power and the wisdom we hoped humanity might one day achieve." As the tension in the room began to dissipate, Sarah's communicator crackled to life. Marcus's voice came through, tight with urgency. "Sarah, whatever you're doing in there, it's having an effect. The entire heart is lighting up with energy readings like nothing I've ever seen. And it's not just here. We're getting reports of similar phenomena on Earth and every human colony." Sarah looked at Lily, seeing her own wonder reflected in her daughter's eyes. Somehow, their awakening had triggered a chain reaction, activating the dormant potential in humans across the galaxy. Thaler stepped forward, his earlier hostility replaced by cautious optimism. "It seems the decision has been made for us. The age of human potential has dawned, whether we will it or not. The question now is, how do we move forward?" Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of this pivotal moment. "Together," she said firmly. "We move forward together. Humanity has much to learn about its newfound abilities, and the Council has knowledge gathered over eons. If we combine our strengths, there's no telling what we might achieve." As if in response to her words, the energy filling the chamber coalesced, forming a shimmering bridge between Sarah, Lily, and Tyler. In that moment of connection, a glimpse of possibility flashed between them. A future of exploration, discovery, and harmony between all sentient beings. The Galactic Council had sought to control humanity's potential. Instead, they had become the catalyst for its awakening. As Sarah stood there, her daughter at her side, and the promise of a new era before her, she knew that the true journey was only just beginning. The heart of Omega, once a symbol of oppression and fear, now pulsed with the light of hope and possibility. Humanity had proven itself not just to the Council, but to the entire galaxy. The age of secrets and suppression was over. A new chapter in galactic history was about to be written, with humanity and the Council working hand in hand to face whatever challenges the universe might hold. As the energy subsided and the reality of their situation set in, Sarah knew there would be much work ahead. Negotiations, explanations, the monumental task of guiding humanity through its awakening. But for now, she allowed herself a moment of pure joy, holding Lily close and marveling at the incredible journey that had brought them to this point. The Galactic Council had believed humanity's rage was controlled. Instead, they had witnessed the true power of human potential, not in fury, but in love, determination, and the unquenchable desire for a better future. The power of human emotion, the aftermath of the confrontation in the heart of Omega, sent ripples across the galaxy. As Sarah, Lily, and their allies worked with Exhilarating to stabilize the situation, reports flooded in from every corner of human-inhabited space. The awakening that had started with Sarah and Lily had spread like wildfire, igniting the dormant potential in humans everywhere. On Earth, people woke to find they could communicate telepathically with loved ones across vast distances. On distant colonies, farmers discovered they could accelerate crop growth with a mere thought. In space stations and on starships, engineers suddenly understood the fundamental forces of the universe on an intuitive level, making breakthroughs in propulsion and energy generation that had eluded them for centuries. But with this great awakening came great challenges. Not everyone welcomed these new abilities, and fear spread as quickly as wonder. The Galactic Council, while officially adopting a stance of cooperation, was internally divided. Many members saw the rapid evolution of humanity as a threat to the established order. In the midst of this tumultuous time, Sarah found herself thrust into the role of diplomat, scientist, and leader. The heart of Omega, once the Council's most secure facility, had been transformed into a joint human-alien research center. Here, Sarah worked tirelessly alongside Exhilarating and a team of the galaxy's brightest minds to understand and guide the awakening of human potential. Months passed in a blur of discoveries and negotiations. Sarah's team made breakthrough after breakthrough, unraveling the mysteries of human DNA and its connection to the cosmic energies that permeated the universe. They learned that humanity's potential had been deliberately suppressed eons ago by an ancient race, fearful of what humans might become. The Council had merely inherited this policy, maintaining it out of a misguided sense of duty. Throughout it all, Lily remained by her mother's side, her own powers growing and evolving at an astonishing rate. The bond between them deepened, transcending the physical and entering a realm of pure thought and emotion. One day, as they took a rare moment of respite in their quarters aboard the Heart of Omega, Lily turned to her mother with a serious expression. "Mom, I've been having visions. I think something big is coming. Something that's going to change everything again." Sarah sat down beside her daughter, concern etched on her face. "What kind of visions, sweetheart?" Lily's brow furrowed in concentration. "It's hard to explain. I see darkness, but not empty darkness. It's alive somehow, and it's hungry. I think it's noticed us. Notice what we've become." A chill ran down Sarah's spine. She had learned to trust her daughter's intuitions, which often bordered on precognition. "Have you told Sailor about this?" Lily shook her head. "Not yet. I wanted to tell you first. Mom, I'm scared. This thing, whatever it is, it's not like anything we've faced before." Sarah pulled her daughter into a tight embrace, her mind racing. Just as they thought they were finding their footing in this new reality, the universe seemed poised to throw them another curveball. But before she could formulate a response, an urgent message came through on her communicator. "Dr. Chen, your presence is required in the main chamber immediately." Sailor's voice rang out, tinged with an urgency Sarah had never heard from a usually composed council member. "Bring Lily as well. We have a situation." Exchanging worried glances, Sarah and Lily made their way to the heart of the station. As they entered the vast chamber, they found it buzzing with activity. Holographic displays filled the air, showing star charts, energy readings, and streams of data Sarah couldn't begin to comprehend. Taylor stood at the center of it all, his usually luminous skin dimmed with what Sarah now recognized as the alien equivalent of pallor. "Dr. Chen, Lily, thank you for coming so quickly. We've detected an anomaly unlike anything in our records." With a wave of his hand, Taylor brought up a new hologram. It showed a region of space at the edge of the galaxy, where a swirling vortex of darkness was forming. But this wasn't the empty blackness of space. This darkness seemed to absorb light, energy, even the very fabric of space-time itself. "It appeared suddenly, about an hour ago," Kyler explained, his voice grave. "It's growing at an exponential rate. Our projections suggest that if left unchecked, it could consume the entire galaxy within a matter of weeks." Sarah felt Lily grip her hand tightly. "It's what I saw in my vision," the girl whispered. Taylor's gaze snapped to Lily, his eyes widening. "You foresaw this. Extraordinary. Lily, can you tell us anything more about what you saw?" As Lily recounted her vision, Sarah's mind raced. The magnitude of the threat before them was almost incomprehensible. Even with humanity's newly awakened powers and the Council's vast knowledge, how could they hope to combat something that devoured reality itself? As if reading her thoughts, "We've already mobilized every available resource. Ships are being dispatched to evacuate the nearest systems, and our best scientists are working around the clock to find a solution." But he hesitated, his gaze meeting Sarah's. "We believe our best hope lies with you and Lily." Sarah blinked in surprise. "Us? But surely the Council has faced threats like this before." Hexaler shook his head. "Nothing of this scale. Nothing this absolute. But the power you and Lily have demonstrated, the connection you share with the fundamental forces of the universe, it's our best chance. Perhaps our only chance." The weight of the galaxy seemed to settle on Sarah's shoulders. She looked down at Lily, seeing not just her daughter, but a symbol of humanity's potential, of the future they had fought so hard to secure. Could they risk it all against this unknown threat? But as she gazed into Lily's eyes, Sarah saw something that steeled her resolve. It wasn't fear she saw reflected there, but determination. The same determination that had driven Sarah to tear apart the Council's defenses to save her child. the same determination that had led humanity to reach for the stars in the first place. "What do you need us to do?" Sarah asked, her voice steady. Zayler's relief was palpable. "We've prepared a ship, the most advanced vessel in our fleet. It's been modified to channel and amplify your abilities. The plan is to take you as close to the anomaly as possible, where you can attempt to do whatever it is you do." The vagueness of the plan wasn't lost on Sarah, but she understood. They were in uncharted territory. Traditional weapons and strategies were useless against a threat of this nature. Their only hope lay in the unpredictable, barely understood power that she and Lily wielded. As preparations were made for their departure, Sarah took a moment to contact Marcus and the rest of her team. They had returned to Earth months ago to help manage the global awakening, but Sarah knew she would need their support now more than ever. "Marcus, I need you to coordinate with Earth's governments and the colonial administrations," she instructed. "If we fail, if this thing can't be stopped, you need to be ready to evacuate as many people as possible. Head for the Andromeda Galaxy. It's our best hope for a fresh start." Marcus's holographic image nodded grimly. "Understood. But Sarah, you're not going to fail. You and Lily, you're the best of us. If anyone can save the galaxy, it's you two." His words, filled with unwavering faith, brought tears to Sarah's eyes. "Thank you, old friend, for everything." As the communication ended, Sarah felt a presence behind her. She turned to find Exhilarating, his expression solemn. "It's time," he said simply. The journey to the edge of the galaxy was tense and silent. Sarah and Lily sat in the heart of the ship, surrounded by technology beyond even their enhanced comprehension. Through the view screen, they watched stars streak by, each one potentially holding life that depended on their success. As they neared their destination, the ship's AI announced their approach. The view screen shifted, and Sarah felt her breath catch in her throat. The vortex of darkness was even more terrifying in person. It seemed to pull at her very being, a hungry void that promised oblivion. "Mom," Lily's voice was barely a whisper. "I can feel it. It's alive, but not like us. It's ancient and empty and so hungry." Sarah nodded, feeling the same overwhelming presence. "I know, sweetheart. But remember, we're not empty. We're filled with life, with love, with the hopes and dreams of our entire species. That's our strength." As the ship drew closer to the anomaly, alarms began to blare. "Hull integrity compromised," the AI announced dispassionately. "Estimated time to total structural failure, 3 minutes." Sarah looked at Lily, seeing her own fear and determination mirrored in her daughter's eyes. "Are you ready?" she asked. Sarah, still weary from their ordeal, managed a small smile. "We only did what anyone would have done, given the chance. The real victory belongs to all of us, human and alien alike. It's proof of what we can achieve when we work together." As the initial excitement of their return settled, the real work began. The transformation of the voracious void into a stable, pulsing sphere of energy had sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Research teams from across the galaxy converged on the heart of Omega, eager to study this new phenomenon and its implications for their understanding of the universe. But beyond the scientific ramifications, there were more immediate concerns to address. The near destruction of the galaxy had shaken the foundations of galactic society. Old power structures were crumbling, and new alliances were forming. The Galactic Council, once the unquestioned authority in interstellar affairs, found itself at a crossroads. In the weeks that followed, Sarah found herself at the center of intense negotiations. Representatives from every spacefaring race gathered to discuss the future of galactic governance. The council chamber, once a place of rigid hierarchy, now buzzed with a new energy as species that had long been marginalized found their voices heard for the first time. Lily, wise beyond her years, played a crucial role in these discussions. Her ability to sense the emotions and intentions of others, honed during their encounter with the void, proved invaluable in navigating the complex web of interspecies politics. One particularly tense session stood out in Sarah's memory. A coalition of newer spacefaring races, emboldened by humanity's example, were pushing for a complete dismantling of the Council system. They argued that the old ways had failed, nearly leading to the destruction of everything. As tempers flared and the threat of a new conflict loomed, Lily stepped forward. Her small form seemed to grow as she addressed the assembled delegates, her voice carrying a weight that belied her years. "We stand at a turning point," Lily began, her eyes meeting those of each delegate in turn. "The old ways have brought us far, but they've also brought us to the brink of destruction. Yet, in our darkest hour, it wasn't the might of fleets or the power of ancient technologies that saved us. It was understanding, empathy, love." A hush fell over the chamber as Lily continued. "The void that threatened to consume us was born of loneliness, of isolation. Are we not in danger of creating the same void within our own society if we continue to divide ourselves? The Council system may need to change, but we mustn't lose sight of its original purpose, to bring us together, to help us understand one another." Sarah watched with pride as her daughter's words resonated with the assembled delegates. Even Xylor, who had been staunchly defending the traditional council structure, seemed moved. In the end, a compromise was reached. The Galactic Council would be reformed, expanded to include representatives from all spacefaring races. Decision-making would be more transparent, with a focus on collaboration rather than top-down control. And at the heart of this new system would be a department dedicated to fostering understanding and cooperation between species. As the new Galactic Charter was drafted, Sarah found herself reflecting on the incredible journey that had led to this moment. What had begun as a personal quest to save her daughter had blossomed into a transformation that spanned the stars. Humanity, once seen as a volatile, unpredictable species to be contained, was now viewed as a catalyst for positive change throughout the galaxy. But with this new respect came new responsibilities. As humanity's powers continued to develop, there was a pressing need for guidance and education. Drawing on their experiences, Sarah and Lily established the Cosmic Harmony Institute, a center dedicated to helping humans understand and control their newfound abilities. The institute quickly became a beacon of hope and learning, attracting students not just from Earth and its colonies, but from alien worlds as well. Humans and aliens worked side by side, exploring the boundaries of their potential and forging bonds that transcended species. One day, as Sarah observed a class of young humans and aliens learning to manipulate energy fields together, she felt a familiar presence at her side. Xylor, now serving as an advisor to the Institute, joined her at the observation window. "It's remarkable," Taylor mused, his voice tinged with wonder. "In all my centuries, I never imagined I would see such harmony between species, especially not with humanity at the center of it." Sarah nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "We've all come a long way. I think back to when Lily was taken, how close we came to conflict. It seems like another lifetime." Lily nodded, reaching out to take her mother's hands. As their fingers intertwined, Sarah felt the familiar surge of power, but magnified 100-fold by the ship's amplification systems. Energy crackled around them, filling the chamber with a blinding light. Together, they reached out with their minds, probing the edge of the void. The sensation was indescribable, like touching the surface of a black hole with their bare hands. The hunger they felt was overwhelming, a cosmic emptiness that threatened to swallow them whole. But as they pushed deeper, something unexpected happened. In the heart of the darkness, they felt a flicker of recognition. The void wasn't just hunger, it was loneliness. An ancient consciousness, so old it had forgotten its own origins, devouring galaxies in a futile attempt to fill the emptiness within itself. In that moment of connection, Sarah understood. This wasn't a battle to be won with force or power. This was a wound in the fabric of the universe, crying out for healing. With this realization, Sarah and Lily changed their approach. Instead of fighting against the void, they opened themselves to it. They poured forth every memory, every emotion, every spark of life and love they had ever experienced. And through their connection, they drew upon the collective consciousness of humanity, now awakened and united across the stars. The void recoiled at first, overwhelmed by the flood of sensation and emotion. But slowly, hesitantly, it began to respond. The hunger that had driven it for eons began to subside, replaced by curiosity, then wonder. Sarah felt tears streaming down her face as she sensed the change. The void was transforming, its endless emptiness filling with the richness of human experience. And as it changed, so too did the vortex that threatened to consume the galaxy. The ship's eye's voice broke through their trance. Anomaly receding. Threat level decreasing. Sarah opened her eyes to see the swirling darkness contract, collapsing in on itself. But it didn't disappear entirely. Instead, it coalesced into a shimmering sphere of energy, pulsing with newfound life and purpose. As the immediate danger passed, Sarah felt the drain of their efforts. She and Lily slumped in their seats, exhausted but triumphant. They had done it. They had saved the galaxy not through destruction, but through understanding and compassion. As the ship began its journey back to the heart of Omega, Sarah held Lily close. "You were amazing," she whispered. "I'm so proud of you." Lily smiled up at her mother, her eyes heavy with fatigue but shining with the wisdom of one who had touched the very soul of the universe. "We did it together, Mom. All of us. That's the real power of humanity, isn't it? Not just what we can do alone, but what we can achieve when we're united." Sarah nodded, feeling a profound sense of peace settle over her. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged victorious. But more than that, they had discovered a truth about themselves and their place in the cosmos. Humanity's awakening wasn't just about gaining new abilities or understanding the secrets of the universe. It was about embracing their capacity for empathy, for connection, for love. These were the qualities that had allowed them to face the void and transform it. As Earth came into view, glowing blue and beautiful against the backdrop of space, Sarah knew that a new chapter was beginning. Humanity and the Galactic Council would face this brave new universe together, guided by the understanding that true strength lies not in power or control, but in the ability to reach out, to connect, and to heal. The journey that had begun with a mother's desperate search for her child had led to the salvation of the galaxy. And in that salvation, Sarah Chen and her daughter Lily had discovered the true nature of human potential, a force not of destruction, but of creation, understanding, and boundless love. A new galactic order. The return of Sarah and Lily Chen to the heart of Omega was met with a mixture of jubilation and awe. News of their incredible feat had spread across the galaxy at speeds that defied traditional physics, a testament to the new era of interconnectedness that humanity's awakening had ushered in. As their ship docked, Sarah and Lily were greeted by a diverse crowd of humans and aliens alike. Exhilarating stood at the forefront, his usually stoic features animated with an expression that Sarah had learned to recognize as profound respect. "Dr. Chen, Lily," Sailor said, his voice resonating with emotion, "you have done the impossible. You have saved not just our galaxy, but perhaps the very fabric of existence itself. The Council, the entire galaxy, owes you a debt that can never be repaid." Sailor was quiet for a moment before speaking again. "I owe you an apology, Sarah. The Council. We were wrong about humanity. We let our fears cloud our judgment, nearly destroying the very thing we sought to protect." "We've all made mistakes," Sarah replied, turning to face the alien she now considered a friend. "What matters is that we learn from them, that we grow. And I'd say we've done a pretty good job of that." Their conversation was interrupted by an excited shout from the classroom. One of the younger students, a small Arcturian girl, had successfully created a stable energy construct, a feat that would have been considered impossible just a year ago. As the class erupted in cheers, Sarah felt a swell of emotion. This was what they had fought for, not just survival, but the chance to thrive, to push the boundaries of what was possible. The years that followed saw unprecedented growth and discovery throughout the galaxy. The sphere of energy that had once been the void became a hub of scientific research, yielding insights that revolutionized everything from space travel to energy production. Humanity's awakened abilities, combined with alien technologies and knowledge, led to advancements that would have once been dismissed as pure fantasy. But perhaps the most profound changes were the least tangible. The spirit of cooperation that had been born in the face of galactic destruction continued to flourish. Ancient rivalries between species began to fade as they worked together to explore the cosmos. The concept of alien began to lose its meaning as interspecies relationships, even families, became commonplace. Through it all, Sarah and Lily remained at the forefront, guiding humanity and their alien allies into this bright new future. They became symbols of what could be achieved through understanding and compassion. Their story taught to children of all species across the galaxy. As Sarah's hair began to gray and Lily grew into a formidable leader in her own right, they often found themselves looking back on that fateful day when Lily had been taken. What had seemed like the darkest moment of their lives had become the catalyst for a new age of galactic peace and prosperity. On the 10th anniversary of the Void's transformation, a grand celebration was held at the heart of Omega. Representatives from every corner of the galaxy gathered to commemorate not just their narrow escape from destruction, but the new society they had built from the ashes of the old order. As Sarah took the stage to address the assembled crowd, she felt a sense of completion. The journey that had begun with a mother's desperate search for her child had led to the reformation of an entire galaxy. Yet as she looked out at the sea of faces, human and alien alike, she knew that in many ways, their journey was just beginning. 10 years ago, we stood on the brink of annihilation. Sarah began, her voice carrying easily through the vast chamber. We faced a force that threatened to consume not just our lives, but the very essence of our existence. In that moment of crisis, we discovered a truth that has guided us ever since. Our greatest strength lies not in our individual powers, but in our capacity to connect, to understand, to love. She paused, her gaze sweeping across the audience. We've achieved wonders in the past decade. We've pushed the boundaries of science, rewritten the laws of physics, and explored deeper into the cosmos than ever before. But our greatest achievement isn't measured in technological advancements or cosmic discoveries. It's measured in the bonds we've forged, the understanding we've cultivated, the compassion we've shown to one another. As Sarah spoke, she felt Lily's presence beside her, a constant reminder of the love that had started it all. The void that once threatened us was born of loneliness, of isolation. In healing it, we healed ourselves. We recognized that the same forces that bind atoms and hold galaxies together also bind us to one another. We are all, in the most fundamental sense, connected. As we look to the future, Sarah continued, her voice swelling with emotion, let us carry this truth with us. Let it guide our explorations, our discoveries, our interactions with new life and new civilizations. For in the end, it is not conquest or control that will secure our place in the cosmos. It is understanding. It is empathy. It is love. As Sarah's words echoed through the chamber, she felt a surge of energy, not the raw power she had wielded against the void, but something subtler, warmer. It was the collective emotion of the assembled beings, a tangible manifestation of the bonds that now united the galaxy. In that moment, Sarah Chen, once just a scientist and a mother, felt the weight of history on her shoulders. She and Lily had changed the course of galactic history, not through force or cunning, but through the most fundamental human qualities: love, compassion, and the unwavering determination to forge a better future. As the applause washed over her, Sarah embraced Lily, tears of joy streaming down both their faces. They had faced the darkness together, and in doing so, they had brought light to the entire galaxy. Whatever challenges the future might hold, they would face them the same way, together, with open hearts and the unshakable belief in the power of human emotion to transform the very fabric of the universe. The story of Sarah and Lily Chen, of humanity's awakening and the birth of a new galactic order, would be told for generations to come. It would inspire countless beings to reach for the stars, to seek understanding where there was fear, to offer compassion where there was conflict. And in the echoes of their tale, the galaxy would continue to evolve, to grow, to reach ever higher toward the limitless potential that lay within each and every sentient being. As the celebration continued around them, Sarah and Lily shared a quiet moment, gazing out at the stars that now seemed more like old friends than distant, unreachable points of light. The galaxy stretched out before them, a canvas of infinite possibilities. And they knew, with the certainty that comes from facing the very heart of existence, that the greatest adventures still lay ahead. The Galactic Council had once believed humanity's rage was controlled. Instead, they had witnessed the true power of human emotion, the power to transform, to unite, and to light the way toward a future brighter than any had dared to imagine.